A Bandidos motorcycle gang member has been charged with serious assault in Burberry in southwestern Australia. The 32-year-old man allegedly punched an 18-year-old man twice without warning, causing him to fall backwards. The victim received treatment for a fully displaced broken jaw at two local hospitals. The bikie was arrested at Perth Airport and charged with grievous bodily harm, fighting in public and possessing a controlled weapon. CCTV has caught the moment four unknown men brandishing bladed weapons entered robbed a supermarket in Melbourne's southeast. Victoria Police is appealing for public assistance on an armed robbery in Kew. One of the members of the group can be seen near the store owner and appearing to threaten him, while the other helped themselves to over $800 worth of alcohol. It is alleged the men robbed another store an hour before this incident. Staff members from both stores did not sustain any injuries. Well, joining me live is criminal justice and criminology expert Dr Terry Goldsworthy. Thank you so much for joining us. Just those two stories alone are quite confronting, aren't they? And seeing that vision, they're getting away with it as well. But I mean, we are seeing clear vision. What can you tell us? What more needs to be done in this instance?
Well, in relation to the bikie incident there, Janie, I mean, we know bikies often commit public displays of violence. We had a look at some data around bikies or outlaw motorcycle gangs in Queensland and in the ACT over a number of years. And it's a bit of a misnomer. They don't commit as much organised crime as we think. What they do get engaged in is low-level violence, like you've seen in that CCTV there, where it's just a spur-of-the-moment thing. So, I mean, the police have dedicated task forces in most states looking at bikies, so it's no surprise they acted immediately in relation to that. In terms of robberies, etc., we have seen a large increase in robberies in Queensland, for instance. Those offences of violence are going up. Everyone can get access to a knife to commit the robbery. We've seen some legislation put in place in Queensland to restrict the access of knives, particularly to young people, given their usage in offences such as the one we just saw, and also in relation to assaults that can turn out deadly.
The Northern Territory Chief Minister Eva Lawler confirmed the 6-day extension to the Alice Springs curfew. What are your thoughts on curfews?
Yeah, look, we looked at some data in 2018, primarily on the back of what we call the Northbridge curfew in WA, which has now been extended up to, I think, June 2025. And the data showed that it really didn't have any great effect on crime. Crime did reduce, but it also reduced in the areas around the curfew. So, you couldn't say the curfew was a causative effect of the reduction. If you look at the other research that's done, most of it is fairly negative about youth curfews, saying that they don't actually necessarily stop crime, they can displace crime, and they can be problematic. For the one in the Northern Territory, it's interesting. They've extended it by a week, so it's only 3 weeks old. They've implanted or pushed another surge in of 60 police. So the problems that the Northern Territory is going to have is it's a bit like putting your thumb in a hole in a boat. The water stops coming in while your thumb's there, but the moment you move your thumb, the water's going to come back. So what is their long-term strategy would be the question. When are those 60 police going to have to go back to Darwin or wherever they've come from? Somewhere is missing 60 police that are in Alice Springs. Are they looking at making that curfew a long-term solution? And if they are, how are they going to resource it would be the biggest question. It seems to have stopped crime at the moment, and certainly it's been effective as a short-term solution. I don't know whether it's a long-term solution. That's the problem the government up there is going to face.
And what do you make of yesterday's announcement in the US, Ethan Crumbley, who went to school with a gun and now his parents are going to jail?
Yeah, look, it's interesting. I mean, it is America, which has a different system to us in some respects. Over here, we extend criminal responsibility to what we call parties to offences, and that means if you do the act, aid or enable the act, or you counsel the act, you can be held liable as you did the act yourself. Clearly, in this case, we're talking about omissions, what the parents didn't do over there. There was a number of meetings before the shooting, and in fact, a meeting on the day of the shooting, the parents went to the school, drawings of guns, looking for ammunition on his phone, things like that. and there's some basis of the charge was that they didn't secure the firearm they'd purchased for him, and they didn't take action in relation to his mental health and the warning signs. We wouldn't see a prosecution like that over here. Our laws aren't designed to capture that necessarily. We do capture omissions in relation to failures of duties of care in regards to children and dangerous items. But I don't think we would have seen them prosecuted in Australia, and nor should we, I think, because I think there's a lot of onus on the school and also law enforcement. Over here, if you saw signs like that of a student at school, I'd imagine it would be standard procedure that you would contact the Department of Families or the police and advise them. You simply wouldn't ring a parent and then leave the child at school with those kind of issues floating around.
Yeah, very interesting indeed, and always great to get your analysis, Dr. Terry Goldsworthy. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again very soon.
Thanks, Jane.